A security guard working for rap star Drake is in hospital tonight after a drive-by shooting overnight at the musician's Toronto home. The security guard is in serious condition. The shooting comes amid a high-profile dispute between Drake and American rapper Kendrick Lamar. Tricia Kindleman has been following the latest. She joins me now. Tricia, what more do we know tonight?
Well, Sarah, at this point, there are still a lot more questions than there are answers. Kind of, as you mentioned, we know things got going around 2 o'clock this morning. That was when Toronto police say they received the 911 call from the residence, which we know now, is the house of Drake, also known as Aubrey Graham. And what we understand is that police are saying that a male was shot there and was in serious condition when he was taken to hospital. And now police did an update this afternoon where they said that he is still in hospital. We haven't heard anything more since then, but we are continuously watching for any updates that might come in regards to his condition. And they say that they're not confirming at this point in time to whether the rapper was in the home, but police have said that they've been in contact with his team and that they are cooperating. And now this individual was working at the residence as a security guard. According to Toronto police, they do have video footage of the incident, but they have not been able to release that yet. They're saying that there are some quality issues, which is delaying the release, but they are also continuing to have a presence in the neighborhood right now. They say that officers are canvassing the area, looking for potential more other video evidence sources and other witnesses, that sort of thing. They also say they're not sure how many people may have been in the car, but they did use the phrase suspects. But then when questioned about that, the officer did decline to go into any more specific detail. Now, as you mentioned, Sarah, the rapper has been in the news a lot this past week. He was the subject of a recent diss track released by rapper Kendrick Lamar. Police did face questions today about whether that could be a part of what happened.
I am aware of what you're talking about, but it is so early in the investigation that we don't have a motive at this time. And so I cannot comment further on that. This is no different than any other investigation, okay? Like, it's maybe more high profile because there's more people here, but we treat it like any other incident. So we'll be using all our resources.
Now, that officer went on to say that reaching out to law enforcement in other jurisdictions could be a part of this investigation. They were directly asked if they've spoken to any police in Los Angeles or anything like that. They didn't go into detail, but just did say that other jurisdictions will likely be involved. And they also declined to answer the question around how many shots may have been fired, saying that that also will come out as their investigation continues.
Tricia, you know, feuds in the rap world, it's not something that's actually unheard of. And we, of course, can't say that there's a connection for sure to this feud, but how challenging could it be to provide security for some of these artists who engage in these wars of words?
That's right. So we actually spoke to a security expert earlier this afternoon on News Network, and he's the founder of a company that provides security to high-profile individuals. He says he actually considers those in the rap world to be some of the most at-risk individuals in the entertainment industry. He likes to use what he calls the 3 rings of protection, which includes video security, exterior security, in addition to that interior security as well. And he actually says now in California, they're using what they call a 4th ring, which does include some drone security tactics as well. Now, he also blames this situation a bit on what you might want to call like the entourage culture, if you will. He says that can mean the people that are charged with the protection of these individuals could be wholly unprepared and undertrained.
And so I coined a phrase within the industry, sometimes they hire their bodyguards, meaning friends that they know that are big guys that don't have formal training, maybe bouncers at nightclubs, maybe people that are friends of theirs that they grew up with in school. Whatever the reason is that they don't have the formal training in the protection world to be able to, be able to stop an attack if it occurs.
So now, one of the other things that Moyer did point to is actually the use of celebrities and their social media. He says it can be quite dangerous, and they can be posting and exposing their location, which can ultimately, that information can then land in the hands of the wrong people. So again, Sarah, this investigation continuing, and Toronto Police Services says that they will be, again, present in the neighborhood and looking for those additional witnesses and video sources going forward.
Tricia Kindleman in Toronto, thank you. Okay, my next guest has been following that rap feud closely. David Dennis Jr. is a senior writer for the sports and culture site Anscape, and he joins me now from Mapleton, Georgia. David, thank you so much for your time tonight.
Thanks for having me.
You got a lot to explain to me. I'm just learning all about these rap feuds. There's a lot of speculation that the shooting and the rap beef might be linked, but it really is speculation at this point. Do you think there's any reason to draw a line between the two?
No, absolutely not. The speculation is really unfounded and quite frankly, kind of irresponsible by a lot of the folks, my colleagues in journalism. The fact that Drake and Kendrick Lamar have a thing going on, a feud that is played out in music, and they have gone out of their way to say that this is how it is going to play out. This is going to be a musical feud. They say a lot of times, even Kendrick Lamar says, "Hey, I want you to succeed in your career." Drake at the end of his last song says, "Hey, this was a nice little exercise for my pen." But they've said that they are keeping this to music, and they've made it clear even with the people that follow them that, hey, this is a musical thing and it won't go further than that. Look, hip hop has learned a lot since Biggie and Tupac had their feud in the 90s, which resulted in both of them being killed. And so a lot of times when these artists, especially premier artists, have these sort of, butting heads with each other, they make it a point to say that this is nothing more than music.
Why then do you think we maybe haven't heard from either of them trying to quiet those rumors or quiet that speculation and maybe bring the temperature down if in fact somehow it's trickled into the public?
Well, I mean, I would imagine that Drake has a lot of other things going on, namely the fact that there was a shooting at his house. I mean, there's nothing that is indicating that Kendrick Lamar has anything to do with this, and it shouldn't be his responsibility to actually say something that there's not been a formal charge, there's not been a formal connection. The only people that are making these connections are people who are saying that yes, these people are having issue musically, and then something happened to Drake. Like this is something that happens at the same time, but there's no reason to have this connection except for people that are speculating.
Sure. No, and I take your point. I guess what I'm wondering is that, it may not be, certainly it may not be either of the two camps, but when they have this public back and forth, this musical drama, as you call it, there might be people in the public who hear what is ultimately some misinformation, perhaps allegations, some strong allegations that are being made. I know that the picture of Drake's home was promoted by Kendrick Lamar. Might there be somebody out there that needs to be told by the artists that, or maybe those assurances, might that not be helpful on the part of the artists to ensure that it's clear that this is just a musical drama?
I mean, they've done it. They've said it. They keep saying it, that this is a musical drama. Like they are saying that this is how they want to keep it. Now, if fans want to do something, which again, we have no indication that this is something that a fan has done. We have no idea what happened. Like nobody has any clue what has happened in Drake's home. And so this connection is being made because of something that happened maybe in hip hop in the mid 90s, 30 years ago, and also because the fact that we have two black men who are feuding and people associate violence with these situations. I guarantee Miley Cyrus and Taylor Swift have a feud of this sort and something happens in one of their homes, nobody's going to be saying, is it connected to the fact that Miley Cyrus and Taylor Swift don't like each other? So there's a racial component to the fact that we are looking at two black men who are having an issue musically, responsible black men who know how to, who are about their business, who have made it a point that this is a peaceful situation. There's connecting violence to it because it happened at the same time. Like that is, something that we as a journalistic entity that a lot of us are bringing to it that is not founded in fact at all.
That is a very fair point, and the comparison to Miley Cyrus and Taylor Swift, I take your point there, because it is true. When you talk about the lines that appear in the raps, certainly there are fans of, say, Taylor Swift who like to read into all of her lines as well. I know that you wrote 2 days ago that you hope the feud is over, as these two artists were coming out with, tracks at each other, sort of almost in rapid fire. Why do you think it's time for this to be called quits?
Well, because, when these feuds start, you kind of hope that they are about, I'm better than you, I make better music than you, all these other things that you'd like to see from two people who are competing musically. But unfortunately, a lot of the times what happened over the weekend is there are a lot of allegations that sort of bring female victims to the forefront without really any justice for them. Like you have Drake saying that Kendrick Lamar has abused his partner and that his partner had a child with Kendrick Lamar's best friend. You have Kendrick Lamar saying that, Drake is, is basically a pedophile and has these relationships with with girls essentially, and that Drake fathered an 11-year-old girl that he kept secret. And what happens oftentimes these feuds is that we use women as props as part of the feud and to sling dirt on each other. We don't actually care about what happens to the women. And I don't get the inclination that Drake actually cares about what's happening with Kendrick Lamar's partner. These are things that were said just to win an argument, and for that, it takes a very dark turn that I think is unnecessary in a feud that should just be about, hey, I'm better than you, and this is why.
Yeah, some of those allegations, you're right. They're strong, and they're certainly not proven. And in another world, someone might hire a lawyer and say that's defamation. Does it seem to you like Kendrick and Drake really dislike each other? Is there in any imagination here that maybe this is a promotional stunt, that the two are both perhaps in on it to some degree?
I can't imagine a shrewd promotional run or marketing practice that has people denying allegations that they're a pedophile. Like, that does not feel like a good way to promote anybody's music. These guys do not like each other. It started with them just wanting to prove who was better. And I think at the heart of it, it still is. These guys do not like each other. And, but at the same time, they ran into each other at the club. Nothing would happen. Like, there's no indication that there is some sort of bad blood to that level, but it is a rivalry that has gotten personal. And in rap music, we see a lot of rivalries that get personal that also do not lead to violence.
David, thanks for being here.
Thank you.